find your seats, finish up your conversations. And thank you so much for being here with us tonight. My name is Jesse Turtle. I'm the Vice President for Institutional Advancement and the Executive Director of the Foundation. We're going to start with a very inspirational video, and then Dr. Carver is going to take over from there. So thank you so much for being here.
You go to college for the education and take away an experience. You invest in yourself and open doors to new possibilities. As a leader in higher education, St. Petersburg College creates a path for students from all walks of life to gain new skills and pursue new passions. At SPC, you'll find a place to test your abilities and unlock your greatest potential. A place to strive for new approaches and train for new careers. A place where you belong.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to see everyone face to face, and thank you all for joining us. For those who are online, thank you for joining the virtual experience here at the Palladium. I'm Dr. Eric Carver, and I have the privilege of serving as provost of our downtown, midtown, and here at the Palladium. If you've been following the buzz from our press release this week, we're excited about our STEM high school opening in the fall of this year. SPC is standing in the gap to provide underserved high school students in our community with an amazing opportunity to earn a high school diploma, an associate of science degree, and 2 industry certifications with 0 cost for books, fees, or tuition. Thank you to all who made this opportunity possible. Also, SPC is committed to building an inclusive community. In a few short months, the construction will be complete on SPC's Center for Economic Impact and Inclusion. SPC will be leveraging its extensive employer network and educational experience to create an equity training curriculum that meets the needs of workforce. Stay tuned as we further advance diversity, inclusion, and economic mobility within our community. Look for future collaborative conversations on how we can economically mobilize the Midtown community with opportunities that fill workforce voids and skills gap with ready employers. Thanks to the support of the SPC Foundation, thanks Jesse and your team, we have established the Midtown Excellence Fund in late February and have already secured $10,000. Thank you. If you're passionate about making a difference in the Midtown community, please engage in these future conversations and let everyone know about our Midtown Excellence Fund. Here at the Palladium, for almost 25 years, the Palladium has served as a professional stage for local artists and arts organizations, and since 2007, as a performance home for many St. Petersburg College arts programs. It has consistently been recognized as Tampa Bay's best community performing arts center. We are grateful for the hard work and dedication of our Palladium team and support and leadership from our Palladium Executive Director, Mr. Paul Wilborn. Paul, Damon, team, thanks for all you do for SPC family and our community. Thank you. Lastly, the Palladium Theater is in its early months of a campaign that will result in major improvements to the stage, the lighting, and seating, and much more. This assures that the Palladium can continue to be a vital part of Tampa Bay's arts ecosystem for the next 25 years. If you're interested in being part of this exciting journey, please connect with me, tell your friends of friends. Our team is ready to build the Palladium's future with you. Now, without further campaigning, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our president, Dr. Tonjua Williams.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh my goodness, really? Good afternoon, everyone. Yay, this is good. I am so glad to see you here tonight. Thank you for joining us to talk about the state of St. Petersburg College. But before I start, I do have some very important people in the audience. One is our trustee, Nathan Stonecipher. The other is our foundation board member, please stand, say hello, Steve. Anybody else from the foundation? All right, and talk about pressure. The former president of St. Petersburg College just had to come tonight. Dr. Bill Law and his wife, Pat, thank you. And yes, he's making me very nervous. You know, the worst thing for a college president to hear in the community is, we have no idea what your college is doing. We don't know where SPC is going, and we don't know what's really happening. So we thought we would launch the State of the College. This is the first time that we have done this, to make sure that the community is aware of where we're going and what we're doing. So bear with us as we share information about your state college. So where did we start? This isn't moving. Oh, okay. So did you guys know that in 2027, St. Petersburg College will be 100 years old? Did you know that we're the oldest public serving institution in Pinellas County? So we have been here a long time. Before all the other colleges got here, people in St. Petersburg decided that it is time to provide higher learning in this county, and we're ready to rock and roll. That's your college. And Ava Park and I argue that Palm Beach or SPC is the oldest in the state. It's us. I know that 1927 comes before when they were born, but she continues to challenge me on that. There's another piece of St. Petersburg College, and that is in the late 60s, St. Petersburg Junior College joined Gibbs Junior College. Gibbs Junior College was the first African-American junior college in the Tampa Bay region. People came from miles. They stayed and slept on floors to go to Gibbs Junior College. Well, St. Petersburg College is a combination of St. Petersburg Junior College and Gibbs Junior College. Okay, I'm trying to flip the slides. So who are we? Who's SPC? We serve about 42,000 students annually. Did you know that? We serve more students than all three of our colleges combined. The other institutions in Pinellas, we serve more. We also know that our students are older students. The average age is 27. Majority of our students receive financial aid. Many are parents, and the majority work. So our students are students who decided later in life, mostly, it's time for me to change my life. So what are we here for? We're here to be the game changer. We're here to help people get that second chance, take that second wind. Dr. Law, when you run all those miles and you feel like I'm about to drop and you get that second wind and you keep going, that's what we do for our students. We give them that second wind. There's been graduation ceremonies where we graduate a 15-year-old and a 70-year-old. There have been graduation ceremonies where we graduate students with certificates and those with degrees. Completion for us is completion. But this lets you know that it takes a lot more for our students to finish, because many of them are trying to decide, do I feed my mind or I feed my family? Have you ever had to make that decision? I know I need to go to school to get more money to feed my family, but I have to go to school to get the job to feed my family. Which one comes first? SPC has put a lot of things in place to remove those barriers and roadblocks. Did you know that a St. Petersburg College student, merely by their badge that they wear, can ride the bus, PSTA, every day, all day for free? They have transportation. Did you know they get free mental health sessions for free? Did you know they have 24/7 tutoring for free? Did you know we have a food pantry on every campus for free food and toiletries? We must serve our students outside of the classroom so that they can learn inside the classroom. Yep. Some of our faculty have actually helped students get to the food pantry, get a snack to sit back in class and learn, because they haven't eaten that day, or they just came from their second job and didn't have time to get food. We also know that some of our students are struggling with clothes for their children and clothes for themselves to go to job interviews. So we have clothes closets on campus to help those students move forward. So when you think about SPC, we serve the whole student, not just in the classroom, because we know there are outside things that interfere with their learning and their growing. And so we continue to make that something that we call the community of care, making sure that students have what they need to be successful. Many of us don't think about that. They don't think about the student who gets up at 6 in the morning to catch the bus to get to a 10 o'clock class, go to the class, can't stay for tutoring, rush back home, try to get help online, have children, have parents that they're trying to help, and moving forward. But SPC is the community's college. Our job is to help fill those gaps and help people succeed. And so when we talk about our students have to have 3 things to be admitted. Do you guys know what those things are? A high school diploma, or a GED, and warm blood in their veins. That's it. That's it, and you're in. That's it. So when people say they can't go to college, or they can't get a certification, or they can't get a degree, as long as they have those things, they're ready to roll. And if you're doing a certificate, you don't even have to have the high school diploma or GED. So it just depends on what you want. Our job is to provide the students what they need so we can fuel the economy. And you'll hear me talk about this throughout my presentation, that our job is to be the #1 workforce engine for Pinellas. You can barely go anywhere in this county and not find a student who's in school at SPC, a graduate who's completed at SPC, or someone who works at SPC. And so we'll show you the work that we do. If I can make this work. So a lot of the work that we do at SPC is based on student success. I think Dr. Law knows that's familiar because he was a part of that building, and making sure that we focus on the student and that students get what they need to succeed. Did you know that SPC's graduates are the #1 highest paid graduates in the Florida college system? Every year we celebrate that #1 ranking. That if you come to SPC, the average student is making over $50,000 a year. That's a big deal. And we continue to hold on to that. A lot of it is our baccalaureate programs, our high wage paying programs like nursing, and now we have programs like a 14-week line worker program. No degree required. You come in, you go to Allstate Center, you take the 14 weeks, you come out, you start making more than $50,000 a year, being a line worker. We're doing Surge Tech and other uniquely different programs than you think about when you think of college. So when people say everyone does not need a college degree, I agree with that. But everybody can go to college and get a certificate, short-term trade, or a degree. But we should not tell people they can't go to college. That's not true. Because even those certificates are stackable and they can be applicable to the degree. So they haven't wasted their time in the line worker program when they're ready to go into the engineering program or get a degree, because that line worker credential turns into credit. So we're building that pipeline to help students move. So that's a good thing. And what about this? 6.5% of our students who are African American students, we're working very hard to close the achievement gap. We continue to try to help all boats rise. And it's a lot of work because our faculty have to do things different in the classroom to help students succeed. So when you look at the university numbers, and I'm not comparing them, I'm a university grad, very proud of that. But when you look at their numbers, when you have students who start with 4.5 GPAs, we don't. We have students who are like me, barely got through high school. And pushing hard. So our faculty have to do things different in the classroom to make the learning experience worth their time so that they succeed. So it takes a lot for some people to get through, especially if you've never had high school algebra and you're in college algebra. So it takes more work to get that student through the finish line. I cannot see those slides, so I have to turn, I'm sorry. Also, what we've done over the last 8 years is decrease the number of debt that SPC students get into. It's easy to get a loan. It's hard to pay it off. And so we've decreased that by $50.5 million over the last 8 years. Our students are in less debt now than they were before. It's going to have to turn. The foundation, thank you. You guys have given $2.2 million to students in scholarships for the 21-22 year. Thank you for that support to help those who did not have enough money to go on their own. So let's talk about our economic impact. You know, we all just went through the pandemic, and we're still in it. It's not over. And people will ask me, well, Tonjua, when will we go back to normal? I hate to tell you this, but this is the new normal. We're not going back to where we were and how things were. Education has changed. The way students are learning has changed. The workforce has changed. We've had individuals who will accept a job at the college and then say, hey, but I only want to work from home. I said, but it wasn't advertised for home. It's advertised to be on campus. People are now used to fight to have to work remote. Now they're fighting to stay remote. And so things have significantly changed. So I talked to my staff about, well, what do you think will happen if SPC shuts down? Look at the impact that we've made in the community. Look at the revenue that we have built in Pinellas County and helped with economic mobility and folks moving forward. I am so proud of this work and what we infuse in the county. And I know that if we ever closed our doors, this county will never be the same. It will never be the same. And so it's important for us to understand $1.2 billion infused, that's big. You never knew that little old St. Pete College could do that much, because so many times people misunderstand who we are because they still think we're the 13th grade. Let me say that again. They still think we're the 13th grade, and we're so far from it. We're so far from it. We have quality faculty. We have excellent curriculum. We have great out-of-class support. And we're here to help people learn. And we do see students with straight A's struggle because it's college. That's what we're a college, and that's what we do. So I'm very proud of the economic impact that we've made in this county and beyond, and in the lives of our students. So look at this. This is for our students. Sorry about this. This is for our students. For our students, every percent that they spend, their rate of return is 18%. $50.2 million in added income just from SPC student spending. $3.07 on every dollar an SP student invests, and for their budget and their money and their benefits for future SPC students, $935 million. Just because they're a Titan. Just because they're a part of SPC. Perfect. We have definitely received some accolades for the work we've done, our online programs, business programs, nursing. We got Best of the Bay from Tampa Bay Times, and we're really striving for this goal of being an Aspen recognized institution. This is like the national big recognition, sort of like, what is the USF there, preeminent? We're gonna be all of that, preeminent. And I don't think we're that far from it. I think as we continue to pivot how we teach our students, how we engage them, and how we help them learn, it's going to change. And so the goal is to get there, but we're starting, we're moving. We gained U.S. News World Report recognition, but we need to get that Aspen Prize. So I'm hoping, pushing, and we're working and strategizing to do just that. So what's the goal? Where are we trying to go? We do a lot of, any kind of higher ed, you have your mission, vision, and value statements. And the thing is that we've got to go beyond the statement. You know, we put a lot of stuff in writing, right? We do that. We talk about equity and inclusion and diversity and learning and success and all that. But really, what the board has challenged the college on for the next 3 years is for students to learn, earn, and return. First, we've got to make sure that we present academic excellence for our students, that we learn how to pivot in our teaching, not give up grades, just pivot, how we help students learn. We need to close the achievement gaps, and not just between ethnic groups. We need to close the achievement gaps from poverty groups, the have and the have-nots. We have been looking a lot at poverty zip codes in areas where there's a lot of people who are still undereducated and underemployed. A lot. In Pinellas County, the last time that I spoke with our workforce team, is 21,000 people in Pinellas County that are unemployed and undereducated. And you know what? We walk right by them every day. Well, SPC has decided we're going after them. We're going to go get them. And we're going to show them how they can do a short-term credential to get them started and then get them into a degree. But if we continue to let them go, their children, and their children's children will be the same. How do we break that chain and build a thriving economy? Through education. And that's the goal. We want to make sure that we provide excellence of instruction. We want to make sure that we help build economic mobility. I was sharing with another group that some of us are offering programs that we're teaching students into poverty. Those programs that are not high wages, where people can't be self-sufficient with, gotta think twice about them. Because basically what we're saying is, I have a degree and I'm still working at McDonald's instead of I own the McDonald's. There's a difference. And so we have to make sure that we look at the programs we offer and that we not shy away from adding new programs, like the line worker program that we offer, or the Surge Tech program that we're offering, or changing our collegiate high schools to be workforce-based for students to go straight from high school, 18 years old, have a credential, and can get a high-wage paying job. So we have to change how we look at learning. We have to change how we engage people in the community and let them know that a degree does not always mean that you have to do it right away. You can step into it. You can phase it in. And when you're ready, you can do it. But until then, let's do this short-term credential and stack another one, and stack another one, and stack another one. The other thing about economic mobility is we're learning that after our students graduate with a degree, they're going to have to come back and kind of retool the saw. You know, one of the things with education is we cannot move as fast as change. We are probably the slowest engine to turn. Everybody else is spinning. And we're still saying, well, back in 1990, we did it this way. So one of the things that I've talked to my team about is things that are transformation killers. The first thing is tradition. We're too afraid to let go of old tradition and build new tradition. Well, let's build new tradition. That's what all the good companies and good schools are doing. They're saying, okay, we tried that, it's not working. It didn't work for 30 years, but you know, why do we keep trying it? It's never worked, but we keep doing it. We have to change that. The other thing that is a transformation killer is turf. So long, education's worked in silos. Businesses work in silos. Do you know there are businesses who already know where the new jobs will be in 5 years and we have no clue? We haven't been brought to the table, but we'll go to the career source meeting and hear, well, I can't find workers. You doggone straight you can't find them because we didn't know the job was a job. How do we build what we don't know? Bring us to the table when it's time for the strategic planning so we can add that to our plan. And then when you need those workers, we've already built that pipeline. And so we have to get rid of turf. Education, workforce, and communities have got to come together because we receive the product of our community. Whether it's the workforce product, whether it's the people who live their product, whether it's the education product, we get to live, work, learn, and play with those individuals. The third thing that keeps transformation from happening, in my opinion, is you're just not being transparent. Be transparent. Tell us what we could do better. It's okay. It's the only way we learn. But then you have to let us tell you what you could do better to help us. I mean, it's very hard to build a curriculum when you don't know that it's changed, and the people who know it's changed don't tell you. So something has to happen there. And with all those T's, you end up with trust. You do all those things, you build trust, and people will move forward. So for me, in order for us to do economic mobility, we need to get rid of tradition, turf, and the lack of being transparent so that we can build trust and move forward. And the final is community engagement. Community means the internal community of the college, us working together as a team, moving the engine forward. Community external, workforce, and our community-based, faith-based organizations. We all got to come together. We all have dreams, we all have visions, but we continue to work in silos. And so in order for us to fix that, we have to come together. And what you don't know is SPC is all about the community. You will see us everywhere, from beach cleanups to reading at the Ronald McDonald House, participating in high school initiatives, serving as facilitators to make sure that we're helping the community move forward, and giving and giving and giving. And we'll continue to do that. But at some point, SPC has to be on that receiving end. There's still some pieces of things happening out there that we have not been brought to the table. And you hear them say, if you're not at the table, you're what? On the menu. So we've got to be at the table. Those are the things we're focusing on, learn, earn, and return for the next 3 years. But to do that, we have to remain fiscally sound, and we have to make sure the employees have a great employee experience. We have to make sure they have the resources and tools and the training that they need to be successful, and that we practice what we preach for our students. We want to make sure that their experience is great. Doesn't mean accountability isn't there, but we need to make sure they have what they need to be successful. I don't know about your business or what you're doing, but a lot of employees are being stolen. I'll just say it easily, stolen. They're not even applying for the job. They're just being called, hey, you want this job? I've even been called. You know, if you want this job, you don't even have to apply. So companies are looking at, how do I retain my employees? What do I do to keep them? Because all of that intellectual property walks out. And then we have to start over. And so the pillars are able to stand on the foundation of fiscally sound and great employees. And so that's what SPC is working on. I see y'all nodding, so you might understand that. I see my employees say, yeah, do that, Dr. Williams, make that happen. So I think the important part that we've lost in order to do the learn, earn, and return is making sure we understand the skills that the employers want. So the college has been infusing these skills in our curriculum because the students are not coming with those skills, even though they're 30 or 40 or what have you. So we need to make sure they have these skills. The faculty are seeing that in the class. The support staff are seeing it outside the class, that these are the skills they want. Now, what's interesting is what the employers want is so not, okay, magic, there we go. It's so not what the workers want. The workers want to be treated fairly. They want flexibility. They want remote work. This is what they want. And what I just showed you is what the employers want. People who could think analytically, people who come on time, who stay, who are productive, who are moving things forward. So in education, it's our job to prepare them for what the workforce wants, but I think the workforce needs to look at why Susie left, because guess what? She gets to work from home, they're flexible, they do all this stuff for you. You know, when we think about the housing market and how hard it is to find housing, it's a seller's market. But when you talk about work, it's really the employees' market. They're writing a ticket that they've not been able to write before. And you need these people to move forward. And so if we're going to come together and build that strategic plan of learn, earn, and return based upon a foundation of great financing and great employees, we've got to mesh these two things to make sure that they come together so we can all do this as a team. So what can we do now? You've heard about SPC, what we're focusing on, and where we're going. I'll start with the community leaders. For the community leaders, as you're weaving your dream and you're looking at whether it's faith-based or not, you're looking at your clients, Make sure that SPC is top of mind. Let them know what we offer. Let us in to come and share what we can do for your parishioners and for your clients and how we can partner together. Don't be afraid if it's K-12 issues. Don't be afraid if it's young adults or teenagers or older adults. We're here to serve the community. Let us know what the focus is. I just received a list of all the businesses that'll be moving into Midtown on 22nd Street. And I'm glad that I received it, because it's going to help me with what I do on 22nd Street. So you got to let us in as far as the community. For workforce, can we please come to the table at the strategic planning time? Can you please help us with apprenticeship? Can you help us with shadowing? Can you tell us what's coming down the pike? And if you really want to help us, you can help with the curriculum as well. That's what made the Duke Energy Line Worker Program so effective, because I would say 3 electrical companies came together and helped write the curriculum for line workers. And you bet that they're hiring them, and we have a long waiting list. We just doubled the class, just added more spaces because the need is there. And so if you are a business and you know something's coming down the pike, if you let us know, then we can build that. And let us help, whatever that it is, we're here to do that. Our students are so in need of apprenticeships and opportunity to get real life experience. Partner with us, let them come and learn. It'll be free labor for you, unless you want to pay, they'll take that gladly. But we're here and need that type of support. So if we could come together and partner and not see each other separated or not as a team, we're all in this together. And the one thing that we all agree to is we want people to have a better life. I think there's not one person in this room that does not want everyone that they come across to have a better life. Well, let's do it. What will keep us from making that happen? Come and hang out at SPC. Tell us what your expertise is. Let us have you speak in a classroom. Let our students see you. It will be great. And don't be afraid to be online. Before COVID, 50% of our enrollment was already online. So we weren't new to online learning. We might have been new to the Zoom online learning. But we offer various types of learning for various types of learners. I'm not an online learner. I need a teacher in front of me to show me and talk to me about it. My sister, online is fine. And so we need to make sure the right student is using the right modality. There are folks who are not online learners in the online class. And so we need to work on that and make sure that they are ready for true online instruction. So we definitely need to improve our connectivity and build community, but help us remove barriers. There are new barriers every day. Right now, there's a barrier that SPC cannot remove, and that's housing. We have faculty and staff who we hire who are driving an hour and a half to get to one of our campuses and back. We have students who want to come here, but they're living somewhere else because they can't find housing. So if any of you have a whole lot of money and you want to do some housing opportunities, I think we might have some land. But there are problems that we can help solve. But we do have real issues at the college. Let's come together and break down those barriers. Those individuals in the poverty zip codes, help us reach them. Tell us where to go. How do we catch them? What do we need to do differently? Because we think all the students are going to come to the college, where the college may have to go to them. Because for some of them, it takes every ounce of sweat that they have to walk across that threshold to come to the institution. It takes every click online to just push that button and decide they're going to give it a try. Can you imagine going to college for the first time and you're 50 years old? I'm 59 this year. And I'm not so sure, had I not had previous experience, that I would have the guts to do that. But we have families who want to get out of poverty so bad, they're like, this is it. This is the time. We're going to do it. And we have father and daughter walking across the stage at the same time. If you really want to see a happy time, come to graduation. If you really want to see the output of SPC, come to graduation. Dr. Law, am I telling the truth? Come to graduation. Half of the girls can't wear the heels they're wearing across the stage, but everything else is really good. I mean, we sit there sometimes like, she is so gonna fall. It's like, this is not gonna work. But join us at graduation so you can see the lives that are being changed and see the families, 30 people deep in the audience screaming. Because someone who was the first to finish just walked across the stage. First to finish in this day and age, walk across the stage and the whole crowd goes crazy. So come and join us on that. Help us remove those barriers. If you have ideas on how to help underserved individuals, or how to help women in traditionally men programs and vice versa, or how to help individuals who have learning disabilities, or people who are struggling with mental concerns and issues, come talk to us. If you have some ideas, I'm all ears. Let us know what we could do differently. What are you seeing and hearing out there? We'd love to know. And then finally, I know people think that the college has like a whole lot of money, although we're doing pretty good. And I'm very happy about that. But there are things that the college needs that we're not able to use state funds or other dollars for. And so if you have resources and you want to be a part of an organization that's changing lives one student at a time, helping their children realize they can be better than they are, we're that school. I mean, we're the Titans, we're strong, we're resilient, and we're proud. And we want you to join us to be a part of that Titan family. This is what we do, and I enjoy that. Because if no one stepped in the gap for me, I would not be able to stand in front of you tonight. Hundreds of people, probably thousands, helped me in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I needed it, but they did. And so if you want to join the Titan family on an advisory board or something else, let us know so that we can help move Pinellas County to being the best that it can be by supporting the #1 workforce engine institution. Thank you so much. I hope that you got a glimpse of SPC. So now is the Q&A time. And so if you have any questions or comments you want to make, there are 2 microphones here. I knew y'all were gonna be shy, so I'm ready. So we did ask community members to provide questions in advance. 2 of the questions that were from the city of St. Petersburg residents talked about nursing. And what are we doing to address the nursing shortage? I'm glad you asked. Right now, SPC in the fall will start an evening and a weekend nursing program to add more slots to nursing. If the governor swipes his pen right, we'll be getting another $2 million to help us with nursing. So I'm very proud of that. The other question is, how is the college assessing what these student population will look like in 20 years? That one was a good question for me, and I thought long and hard about it because we work with the county, we look at our population, we know Pinellas is very dense, it's very hard to add a lot of people. We know that our high school graduation rates are going in a different direction, so we can't focus on that. So we're looking at the workforce and those people who are underprepared and who we can go out and get. We're also looking at how we can move in the online environment. Our marketing team has a consultant. We're working with them on what the future student of SPC looks like because statewide enrollment is down. Now, let me tell you what that really means. Because to the state, enrollment is credit-based. Right, Dr. Law? It's how many FTE. But our growth has been in non-FTE, and it's not counted. Our growth has been in short-term credentials, which is what was in the governor's plan to move people into jobs quickly, and we've done a heck of a job there. Our growth is not in the credit, but it is skyrocketing in the non-credit, and we're getting people to work, which is what we have been focusing on. So what I say is the enrollment has shifted, and unfortunately where the shift is, it's not funded in the same way as the credit side. And so what we're doing now is finding different donors to help us with that shift, because most of those short-term programs are very expensive and require a lot of equipment. And so to do that work, to meet the needs of our local workforce, we're looking at partners to do that. So what I'm looking at, I don't look at how many babies are born in Pinellas County to say, okay, by this many years, we're gonna have new students, because people are moving all over the place. Most of the folks who work in Pinellas don't even live in Pinellas. They don't even live here. And you don't think about it when people say, well, you know, I live in Riverview. Well, you know, I live in, I'm like, wow. Okay, I don't live here. And so the sad news is we don't really have a strong metric to know in 20 years, but we can tell you in 5 years, the short-term rapid credentials will skyrocket, and we'll continue to see the academic side take a hit. And so what we have to do is, all those students who are doing the non-credit, we're already going after them to flip them over to credit. And so we're changing our recruitment strategy, because a lot of the recruitment is right there in the institution. We just got to go and turn them around into the right direction to say, congratulations, you finished this program. People who took this program also did this. Does that sound familiar? Amazon? Amazon can get you to buy everything. I mean, you buy the laptop. People like you who bought the laptop also bought. I'm like, I'm gonna get that too. But we need to do the same with our students. And there's no constant system right now that does that, that says, let's make sure they get a ding from us. Congratulations, you're automatically admitted into SPC's AA track. Does that make any sense? And then once you finish the AA track or you finish an AS track, you've been a nurse for 5 years. People like you come back and take this continuing ed unit. So we're building that cycle to help us anticipate enrollment. And that's gonna be a lot of work, because everything is done by one at a time, looking at the actual credentials they've earned and seeing how that fits over. And so you're doing it one at a time. So I hope I answered that person's question. That came from Janice Buchanan Swartz. I should have known. Jesse Schmoot asked, will the senior waiver continue to be offered? At this point, the senior waiver is being offered. We're one of the few colleges that offer the senior waiver, because seniors get to go to class for free. As enrollment continues to change, we may have to make some changes there. I'm very transparent to let you know, but we're good for next year. So that's where we're going. I'm just being honest. How old is it? Is it 65? I think it's 65. I'm almost old enough to that. There were some folks at the Clearwater session that asked me a question. I already answered this. How can the community best help you? There was one person who wanted to hear about the College of Ed. We ended up sending them more info to see what they really wanted. Another one asked about goals for the college with languages being offered. I forgot the language they wanted on Tuesday, Japanese. And so we'll work to see how much interest there is in Japanese as another language. And then there was another person who asked, what trends do we anticipate in the near future with enrollment? I'm gonna tell you that I think that accreditation and Department of Ed are gonna have to change how they assess completion. I think they're gonna have to look at how to get a class done in less than 16 weeks or 8 weeks and restructure the competencies. We're seeing a lot of the for-profit institutions are able to move students. They end up with master's degrees in 1 year, 2 years. And if there's a certification they have to take, they take the same certification our students take and they pass it. So there's something we need to look at with that. I don't think education is going to be the same. I think our younger people are really looking for more project-based work. You're going to see less people saying, I'm not working for a college for 35 years. I got stuff to do. And you have people who are asking, I don't want to be a full-time employee, but I'll do this project, but you pay me the same as if I'm a full-time employee, and once I'm done, I'm gonna go to the next one. So things are a little bit different than the way we grew up, where you get a job. You know, some of us are old enough, we stick with it even if the job isn't all that great. You know, I was thinking of people that are my grandmother's age. She would tell me, yeah, we're gonna stay till the Woolworth and Woolco shut down. You know, we're gonna stay. But young folks are looking for project-based, but they're also looking for fun. They're looking for things to be exciting. They're not looking for work to be grueling. They're looking for it to be good, and then they're not looking for longevity. I did that, now I'm gonna go do this. So entrepreneurship has become huge. And we need to embrace that we just are gonna have people who are entrepreneurs. They're gonna say, I have a beauty shop, I also have a food truck, I have this, and they're making money. That's what they're doing. Where me, it's like, I need a sure thing. I need something I know I'm gonna get benefits. And they're like, that's okay, I'll pay for mine, I'll get this kind, or I'll do that. So I think that the future of learning is gonna have to catch up with the pace of work. I think that work is gonna significantly change. And you see people job hopping more now than ever. Like, I'm talking stay for 2 months and move on to the next one. And they don't care if they lose something with that, because in their mind, they're not coming back. And so I think that's something we need to look at. If your mouth is loud enough, let's roll. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. We the Aspen Prize is a national prize that shows that student success is #1 and that you're putting things in the classroom to ensure that all students succeed. So you're not, you know, most of the time we talk about, I teach, that's all I do, catch it if you can, right? Aspen is saying, no, you wanna make sure people are learning. So what are you doing to ensure learning, not teaching, learning is occurring in the class? And so they have 4 metrics that they look at. The one that SPC is gonna have to improve in is the completion of our minority and underserved students to be able to get that prize. And if you do win it, the whole thing, you get like $1 million. Yeah, that part. But you also get the notoriety of having excellent education and excellent student support. And I think in Florida, there's, of the great 28, there's 28 of us. I think like 8 of us have earned that Aspen Prize. And so for the state, they're focusing, for us, it's the Aspen Prize. And so what we're gonna have to do is be more innovative in the classroom and find ways to reach those students who are hard to reach and engage those students who are struggling. And it takes a lot of work. And so we'll have to put things in place to help them succeed beyond tutoring and to make sure that their learning experience in the classroom is straight, is tight, to keep students moving forward. There's also some system things that we'll have to do to make that happen. So we're working on it. We're working on it. Any other questions? Yes, in the back. It's 60, not 65? Okay. All right. It's age 60. And there are certain classes you can't take. Like some of us want to take pottery over and over and over. It's a very expensive course. So have to kind of look at that differently. But we do have the senior waivers for seniors to be able to come to school. Anything else? Yes. All right.
You extended an invitation to the community and community leaders to attend one of our graduations, but you didn't mention May 7th.
That is correct. We are back in person. We've had 2 years of sort of like an adjusted graduation, which was still nice. It was very nice, but students still want to come and walk across that stage. And so if you have a loved one who's graduating, Dr. Law, I'm not going to meet the 2-hour deal. That's just not going to happen because we have a large number of students who want to cross that stage. and their families want to see them cross that stage. And so it's May 7th, 9:30 at the Tropicana Field. Make sure you bring some water and some cookies.
Speaking of graduation, my favorite thing to do all year, love graduation. What I'd like to hear is, what's your favorite graduate story? Well, like, what's the one thing that sticks out of your mind that you're this student that you're so proud of, that you love to tell? I love those stories, and I want to hear yours.
Thank you. I have so many graduate stories, but one that really hit me hard was a father-daughter who graduated at the same time, and the daughter pushed the father. And when he was coming across the stage, he said, "I couldn't have done it without her." And so I tell young people, never underestimate your impact. And to know that together they opened a business, a father-daughter business. They graduated together. Another one I really had fun with, and I do this every now and then, and I'm sorry to bother Dr. Law on this, but he did this thing that I stole. At graduation, Dr. Law, I think it was like, it's magna cum laude, and then thank you laude. And so I would tell the students, how many of you have thank you laude? And they just stand up and scream all of it. So we steal that. I do have some very sad stories of children who walked across the stage for their parent who passed away right before graduation. Those are hard. I'm a very emotional person, and it just takes the life out of you to see that little one walk across and get that diploma. But there's so many wonderful stories out there. Students who had been trying for like 10 years, but they stuck with it, one class at a time, and they got through it. And so most of our students have very good stories of how much they worked to get to that day. It is a pivotal opportunity. And Christian, thank you for being at the graduations. I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Dr.
Yes.
Williams, I want to make sure that we utilize the microphone for those that may be hard to hear.
Okay.
So for the companies in the area that are looking for your students that have manufacturing, what are the key skills and or technologies that they're asking for from your students?
Wow. I have not heard the key skills because I don't get that deep into it. So I won't stand here and tell you it's this, and that. But a lot of those skills is going to be inquisitive, wanting to learn, want to use machinery and equipment, not being told everything. Those are some of the things that I have heard from our manufacturing group. We have a lot of unique manufacturing-like programs that people have no idea that we have, that we need to do a better job pushing out there.
You have much
Active?
Additive.
Additive? Yes, we do have 3D printing. As a matter of fact, we built shields early on in the pandemic. We do have, I think we have 2 3D printing machines, and we use that a lot, even for the community. Yep. All right. Well, right next door at the Side Door Deli, we have snacks for you, including some, do we have some libations? Yeah, that stuff. What is it? Oh, he said it's the Palladium. We have a license. So we're going to go right next door, hang out. I'll be happy to meet you and answer any questions that you have. You have no idea how much I appreciate you taking the time to come out tonight. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, which way do they go?
You can exit straight out the back here, down the steps, and there's someone there to be able to direct you to your right. And thanks for coming.
And you don't care, so I